All rise for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. We will roll call here to determine the quorum. Councilor Baumgartner here, Evers here, Ferguson.
Here.
I am here, Paternus.
Here.
We do have a quorum. We'll call the meeting to order here. And we'll suspend the regular meeting here and open up the public forum part of the meeting. This is the appropriate time to address council. If you are going to address council, we ask that you identify yourself for the meeting record. So your speaking time will be limited to 3 minutes. If we cannot properly get your information to you or from you in those 3 minutes, we'll definitely make sure to circle back with you and continue on the conversation. So if anybody here from the public wishes to engage the council in public forum, now's the time. I am not seeing anybody looking to participate in the public forum at this time, so we'll close that on down and restart the meeting here. And next up will be setting of the agenda. We've had the agenda now for a few days. Any conversation about the agenda structure today? I'll call for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Baumgartner, seconded by Ferguson to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, agenda's been set and approved. Move down to the consent agenda. It contains minutes from the August 19 meeting. Resolution 90, the promotion of Jodelle Gilberts to Utility Accounts Coordinator. Resolution 91, approving Utility Accounts Coordinator as alternate for MMPA Board. Application for payment number 1 crack seal at the Olivia Airport. Confirmation of Katie Ambreezy to the Public Utilities Commission. And formal approval of the administrative assistant position description. All right, I'll call for a motion to approve the consent agenda. So motion's been made by Paternus and seconded by Baumgartner to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, the consent agenda carries as written. Move right on down to the business items here, discussion with the police department regarding a proposal for shared services with our neighbors to the west. Danny. Gentlemen? So it sounds like Danny is looking for some police coverage here due to impending retirement of Les, right? And you guys have put together a package with which we might be able to respond to that.
First. Discussion. Just kind of make sure we're all on the same page moving forward. I'll be surprised at something like this. We're not surprised in our conversation. Everything's pretty much what we'd expect. As weak as you can imagine, more reactive than a proactive type response, but that's more what they're looking for. So, and the staff position, but what we have, just provide them. Let's be on average as we're looking for.
Can you speak up just a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
So we provide them 20 hours a week, looking for this time. That number can change with this draft contract we have. If for some reason we can adjust that as necessary. Fun days would be the only time I guess we'd be looking at probably having some additional part-time stuff help cover that. But other than that, over $60,000 is what we're estimating. If you will, from that contract. For a typical day
questions or comment regarding that?
So do you need a full vote on this to make it okay, or what do we?
Well,
We would need a motion with the direction of you all for the city attorney to review and negotiate a contract. This is, if we decide on a proposal, we submit it to the team council and then Pam would negotiate. If they decide that and not the county, which is their other, which is the other entity they're seeking for a proposal.
this is a competitive process, from what I understand.
Yes, they have their number, we have our number. Contracts are similar, depending what
Sure.
Pam comes up with, obviously she put her touches on it as necessary. But yeah, I mean, it's just, at this point, I guess we're just looking if it's something the council entertains that we should do going forward with the process, or if it's not, then that's it right there.
Do you feel you need a committee so that you can have people from the council to talk to immediately as opposed to having to come in front of everybody, or how do you? Cause I figured,
In regards to this process specifically, you're
Right.
talking about as far as setting it up?
yeah,
No, I really think at this point, I mean, we have a pretty good understanding of what we'd be getting into and where it's going. It would just be a matter of just negotiating that contract, as far as and putting your touches on it as she needs to for.
but the negotiating, would it be with just with you guys, or would you be in the negotiations as part of the
Pam, do you wanna
city
speak to that?
administration?
Sure. So I was reviewing the draft contract here, and there's just a few things that I'd like to get more information on, especially with the state law related to continuation of benefits if there's a duty disability event. And then there has been assignment, who would be the employer for purposes of that in responding to a call for the other city? Because we have seen some decisions where there has been the employer of the city that is the official employer is held to continue benefits if there's an event that arises out of responding in another jurisdiction that's caused some issues between cities. So it's just something that I'd like to make sure that we have worked out.
So I know we went through a process a few years back of setting our police policies and procedures. And then we'd be working under theirs probably within Danube, does that sound right, or would we?
We still operate as we normally would, but our ordinances obviously don't apply there.
Yeah,
So we would still be doing what we normally do, we'd still be providing the same police coverage there that we do here, based on the contract.
policies and ordinances are two different things.
Right, our policies are still our policies, that doesn't change, we're still gonna follow all that. Ordinances are just gonna be whatever they have on the books over there.
Sure.
As they want those enforced, that's kind of up to them.
Cool.
And that's something, Mayor, that could be included in the agreement, and other things like who's gonna be the data retention for incidents that happen in the other city as opposed to in Olivia. So it's different things that like that I just want to make sure get worked out in the agreement itself.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, do you think, like, is it just you guys handling the contract, are you having a say?
Oh, it would be,
There's a lot.
yeah, there would be me, Pam, and then would all be involved. If you guys want to see this proposal being proposed to Danube, right, because they still would have to agree to it, then we would work out all of the contract negotiations. I don't wanna spend a lot of Pam's time drafting an entire contract if Danube isn't looking to award us the contract.
And we're not reinventing the wheel with this contract. They're pretty standard when it comes to contracting other towns. It's just the fine print you have
Sure.
covered.
So as far as the negotiation part of your referred to, it's just gonna be more in the verbiage in the contract, not so much a rate. The rate's the rate. I'm not looking to change that.
I just wanna make sure your union things are covered when you're over there
Well,
too.
Yeah, and that shouldn't change because you're still employed by the city as a with the police department. We'll certainly reach out to the union and make sure there's no MOUs needed or anything like that. I don't know why they would be, but we'll make sure everything's covered as it needs to be. I know like the deputies, obviously that's still within the county for them as well, but there's union as well through the same union, they still do
Okay.
contract towns and stuff, so I don't foresee any issues, but we'll certainly fortify our union guy and make sure that he doesn't do any MOUs or anything, but I doubt it. So,
Yeah, and just to be clear, the contract would have to come before council again too for final approval. I think the big parameters is the essential terms of, is this a rate that's included in the Schedule A of something that council's comfortable with moving forward as proposing? Would be something, it would be more of those essential terms. One, do you want to have this relationship if you can get a mutually agreeable contract worked out? And two, the big thing is, it's gonna not be a good starting to start the conversations if you're not comfortable with whatever rate that's put forth there.
Guess my first question is the rate, what does the rate cover? Is it gonna cover us 100% plus some?
yeah, it covers, basically, so the numbers on it will cover, salary, fringe benefits, money for uniforms, equipment and vehicle, fuel and maintenance. So it will cover, everything. That's all worked into the hourly rate that's provided.
I know this is something you've been working towards, so I'm really excited to
So,
personally.
I
hear
put,
about
yeah, I
this.
put a lot of thought into trying to make sure that we have everything covered and work with Sean and Elizabeth and the chief, and really try to brainstorm, making sure we're covering every possible avenue, because obviously, we're not gonna come up short at the end of the day. You know, we're not doing this to lose money, it's not gonna happen. No, we're not gonna gain significant more money, but at this point, as we're not adding staff, ultimately, it will just help pay for the staff we already have, the equipment we have, and things like that. That being said, the 61,000, because the listed on there talks about LPG, RMS, or whatever, that's $1,000 that we have to pay the county once we get it from Dayton for just keeping their records through LPG going in here. So that's gonna be a wash, but the 61,000 and change, whatever's there, will ultimately offset our cost, which is about 5.9% of our total budget for the year. So it's a decent chunk of it, look at it that way, help offset some of those costs, and I know obviously we all sat and looked at the numbers and cringed a bit, so this might be a way to help that, ease that pain and suffering across the board a little bit, so.
And then would it be written in the agreement that, say we end up in the situation we were 2-3 years ago, we had 3 officers that said we barely have enough to cover Olivia. They're on their own. Are we obligated at that
We
point?
would be obligated in that to keep that coverage, 20 hours a week. The contract they're looking at this point is a 1-year contract. The reason they're doing that is understandably, as I think it's good for us too. How did it go?
Yeah.
If we do this and go, wow, that was rough, no thanks. It's only a year contract. I don't see that being an issue. I think it's a very nice town, and it's very nice to work with. I think it's gonna be a very good relationship for us now and in the future. But that's kind of what they're looking at, just to try it out. You know, this is all new to them too. They've had less there for 30 years, or whatever it is, so this is kind of uncharted territory in their world as well.
Yes, I wanna make sure we're covered in case, Olivia should come first, regardless. Whether there's a 30-day, say, hey, we can't do it
Yeah,
anymore.
and I think that could be included in the draft that Pam will put together.
I'm all for it, but I wanna make sure we're covered.
I can make a motion that.
Can I ask a quick question real quick too? For the chief, I didn't see anything in here with respect to compliance checks. Was that discussed at all?
No, they were not, and the county does quite a few county or compliance checks currently.
Okay,
Public health has been doing them now.
okay,
We haven't even been doing the ones in town, I don't believe, here, so that's really been something the county's been handling across the board, so I don't think that's necessarily something to work into it at this point.
and what are they doing do you know, for cannabis at all, for those compliance checks? Are they delegating to county too?
They were not at the county convening where the county administrator just like kind of took a poll, an informal poll of the room. So I can't tell you what they are choosing for that. But we can certainly investigate that.
Okay,
Not about the city in particular, or about Danny in particular, but they're doing, Public Health's doing all the licensing stuff.
Sure. They're probably in compliance.
I think, doesn't Rapid do that too?
Well, for the licensing, yeah, the city, like we're choosing to delegate our licensing authority to the county,
Right.
I don't know if
Daniel
Daniel is
does.
going to.
Danny doesn't do any more than that, too.
Yeah, so I am assuming Daniel would also choose to delegate that licensing authority, but I don't have that for certain.
Any other questions about the proposed proposal?
Maybe just make a motion.
Yeah,
Yep.
Very good. And for the police department, Pam and the administrator to move forward with proposing the shared services with Danny.
And reviewing and negotiating the contract
Reviewing and negotiating the contract.
if awarded.
If it were, I'm sure.
I'll second that, all of it.
Motion's been made by Baumgartner, seconded by Ferguson to direct staff to move forward with the proposal and the negotiation of. Any further discussion?
Someone read back the motion to us.
Well, I can tell you that the motion
Who was it written?
It's hard to read
is
back.
to direct staff to continue with this proposal process with the city of Danube. And included the police department and Pam and the administrator Torkelson here, and it also included the negotiation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure thing. Anything for you? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
All right, now we have another, thanks, Sergeant. All right, now we have another discussion item here, the pool bond.
So as a reminder, at the March 4th, 2024 city council meeting, you all gave the thumbs up and approval to support the pool and its needed investments. So in March, it was discussed that the project scope of the pool is to replace the pool locker room air handler and add dehumidification, replace and do utility sub-meeting, pool boiler replacement, pool exterior facade, so that very precarious looking wall. Some pool locker room refurbishes, they're talking about a pool cover blanket, so the total cost of the project is around 1.4 million. We agreed to split those costs 50-50 with the pool, so we have started the process for $750,000 of a bond for the city's portion. And so when cities in Minnesota take on debt, they must do so in the form of bond issue, and the city has to cite the statutory authority it intends to utilize, so that's why you have a memo from Jason Murray. It cites Minnesota statutes chapter 469 and 475 as our authority. This type of debt does not count against any statutory debt limits. The proposed bond will have a 15-year term. And so the timeline for this whole process, September 3rd here, it's resolution, we need to do resolution 92 and 93 included in your packet. This kind of starts the borrowing process. It calls for the tax abatement hearing because this is a general obligation tax abatement bond. Then October 7th will be the hearing. Jason Murray will be at that public hearing. November 4th, council will ratify the bond purchase agreement, approving the tax abatement, and then November 18th is the closing. So that's kind of the timeline of all of this. You have the two resolutions in your packet that start this process going. The school has requested our portions of the funds by mid-November, so we're working to get mid-November.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Any conversation on the resolutions or on the bond issue as a whole?
Yeah, just in general, we've spent a lot of money, and then to do the city hall next year, that's gonna be another, call it $180,000 a year in new taxes. And then we've got the RO project hanging out there, which is gonna be like another $1 million, which would be $50,000 more in new taxes. And I am concerned that we are going too far. And In light of the budgeting and stuff, like, I have a hard time with this. Well, I don't think it's a good investment for the community, but the community thinks it's good for the community. But I have a hard time with it because costs are going crazy. We spent a lot of money. I just don't want that to be lost on anybody.
Thank you.
And we previously approved this already, right?
Yes, we approved moving forward and with $750,000 in repairs, yes. But we do need council approval to move forward with the bond process.
So do we just need a motion then?
Yes.
And
Well, we need, the motion for approving both resolution 92, and then we need the separate approval of resolution 93.
Okay.
That's listed there.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2492, approving the issuance of general obligation bonds.
Second.
There's a motion that's been seconded, motion made by Ferguson, seconded by Paternoss to approve resolution 92, approving the issuance of general obligation bonds for the pool project. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
All right, we have dissent, so we will go with a roll call vote here. Councilor Baumgartner, so,
Nay.
yeah, there you go. Evers,
Yes.
Ferguson,
Yes.
Paternoss.
Yes.
All right, motion 92 does, pass. Or resolution 92 does pass. All right. So we need to set a date for the public hearing on the approval of the tax abatement resolution for the community pool project. October 7th is a great day to do that. I'll call for a motion.
So move.
Second.
We'll call that resolution 93. Motion's been made by Evers, seconded by Paternoss to approve resolution 93, the setting of the date for the public hearing of the approval of the tax abatement resolution for the pool project at dates of October 7th. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
We have dissent here, so we'll go to a roll call vote. Councilor Baumgartner,
Nay.
Evers,
Yes.
Ferguson,
Yes.
Paternoss.
Yes.
Resolution 93 does pass. We will move on to committee reports. We were furnished with the EDA report. So it was actually a 2023 recap, went through all the goals, objectives, and successes of the EDA in 2023. Talked about some of our housing struggles in town here with a very low housing inventory. Kind of weighed that up against the housing costs. The EDA finances are also available in that report. And these are all this information is available in the council packet online on our website. Main Street goals.
Yeah, so this was put together by our director of Main Street, who's also our EDA director, Susie Lang. It was discussed at the budget workshop that to provide council with more information about what we hope to do with Main Street, particularly, coming towards the end of 2024, which is a rebuilding year for us, regrouping year. So we are looking to have a very active Main Street committee again. And so here we listed some of the goals in this memo to council. So, attracting new businesses, supporting existing businesses, preserving our historic assets, hosting events and festivals, and fostering more community involvement are just some of the goals for our Main Street committee coming into next year, 2025.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Again, those are also available in the council packet, along with the pool report. Landon, anything from the pool report you want to highlight for us?
We're meeting tomorrow.
And a meeting tomorrow. All right. Are there any other reports from staff?
I will say park board met today, we actually met in a park. We were able to meet in Nestor Park. We talked about needed maintenance items for different parks, we're getting some quotes on additional fences throughout the city parks. And then some other projects like putting tin on different roofs of our shelter, to make those, I guess, less of a maintenance drain on public works resources moving forward. There was also a significant amount of time spent on trees, as well as we had a guest, Mr. John Benson, from 212 Baseball came to talk to the Parks and Recreation Board about the 212 Baseball's desire to put a batting cage at the baseball fields and what type of partnership might be available between the city and the group. No action or recommendations were made at that time, they were just listening, hearing what was desired and figuring out, gathering more information.
Any other reports from staff?
Tourism board meets tomorrow for the firemen.
Rip Fest on Saturday, everyone.
Rib Fest on Saturday, get your ticket.
They're going fast.
Any other reports from council?
Update on City Hall.
We had our first construction meeting today, so all of the asbestos of City Hall is officially removed. We had a couple of plan review items come back from the architect plans that were being hashed out today. They're hoping to start some demo either latter half of this week, so Thursday, Friday, or beginning of next week. They've ordered the temporary fencing, the superintendent and Barrios is on site, so he started kind of getting some things together. And we have weekly meetings with Marcus and with Witsa now, so. Excellent question.
We'll just move it along. I don't like that you guys are in the technical spot, so.
It's definitely not for the faint of heart. I get a lot of steps in walking outside to take phone calls, so I don't bother anybody else out. Also, we have officially closed on the alleyway. So we have officially acquired the alley, many thanks to Pam and her team at Kennedy Graven for helping us close on that purchase.
Yeah, it was something.
Any other reports from council? Any notices or communication to the public?
I will say, so there has been a slight IT hiccup in locating our DNS post, which has led to the delay of our new website being public. But we are hopefully getting that resolved soon. It just seems to be like there are more layers than I've ever anticipated. And working with a lot of different people to help get the issue resolved. But once it is, we will do a big splashy, yay, it's open, but it is coming. As is Office 365.
Call for a motion to adjourn.
So, second.
Motion's been made by Evers, seconded by Patmos to adjourn. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Alright.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
You make your 6:20 appointment.